Welcome back for video number 3 of this little journey that we're going on of me starting out working in college athletics development. In this video, we're just going to look at my second week on the job as assistant director of annual giving at the University of Pennsylvania. More specifically, we'll go in depth on what the weekend looked like. So we did have our Hall of Fame ceremony, which happens once every 2 years. And then we also had our first home football game. So lots of people on campus, lots of exciting stuff going on, and still only the second week on the job. So to start out with more just general things that happened throughout the week, quick updates would be I completed my CRM training, so I now have access to all of the records and being able to see, who our alumni are, their giving history, their contact information. I can maybe start reaching out to a few people here and there. So that's super exciting. And then it was a lot of prep work for the Hall of Fame ceremony, and then also for our first game, obviously, coming up that weekend. But I did get to help a little bit with a wrestling homecoming invitation, practice my graphic design skills, which thankfully they just use Canva, which is something I'm familiar with from my college education. But yeah, I will let you watch this quick video of me from Thursday, the day before the Hall of Fame ceremony. It was a long day of prep, and then I'll kind of pick back up where that leaves off. All right, so I am back home after another long day. We are done just about getting ready for the Hall of Fame ceremony tomorrow, ceremony and banquet. So today was just a lot of kind of taking care of the last few operational tasks, getting things together for all those attendees and honorees and their families. So putting together things like credentials for the football game on Saturday and making sure that they've got access to everything they need. So excited for tomorrow. It'll be a long day, starting early in the morning and running all the way until about 10 p.m. when the ceremony ends. Looking forward to it, and I'll be sure to keep you posted. All right, so obviously in that video, I mentioned it was a long day of getting prepped for the Hall of Fame ceremony, which would be on Friday. So got in that morning at probably about 8:30 a.m. and then spent the whole day just getting things prepped and did not leave the office until between 7 and 7:30 p.m. Didn't really feel like it was that long just because we were constantly busy, never really had time to think about how long we had been in the office. But when you look outside and, sun's going down, usually a pretty good indicator that you've been there for a while and it's time to go home. So was very excited for what was to come on Friday, and I'll go ahead and throw up now just a quick little outline of the schedule from Friday and Saturday. All right, so you will notice here that Friday, as I mentioned, was also a long day. Got into the office at about 9 a.m. And just from 9 a.m. to about noon did office work, which for me was kind of looking around our CRM system that I had just gotten access to, getting familiar with different donor bases and maybe get an idea of people I wanted to reach out to. At about 12:30, we headed over to the hotel where we were hosting the Hall of Fame banquet and got things set up. So getting name tags set out, making sure that our Hall of Fame honorees were getting in for their interviews that we recorded beforehand and getting their gift baskets, getting their tickets for the game on Saturday. Just a lot of kind of operational, logistical tasks taken care of ahead of time. And then at about 5:30, people started showing up for the Hall of Fame ceremony. So making sure people got checked in, kind of introducing myself to a few people. So a couple of our football board members were there. I met them for the first time. A few other big donors to the program just across the board were there. So I was introduced to them. And then from 5:30 to about 9:30, after we finished obviously the registration, we then went into a back room. We had a chance to eat our meal, and then it was back to work. So that's cleaning up a little bit of the stuff that we had set up for registration, since we obviously didn't need it anymore. There were some intermissions that we needed to be around for, just making sure people stayed in the right area. We're aware of, some cocktail bars that we had available. And then once the ceremony wrapped up, between 9 and 9:30, it was really fully time for breakdown. So we had, some stuff we had to grab off the tables, flowers, flags, and then, some other stuff to break down just kind of around the hotel and around the event space. But we ended up getting out of there about 10 p.m., which was what we expected. Long day, and then, keeping in the back of your mind that we would have to be back at the office the next morning at about 8:30 a.m. to get ready for the football game.
To attend university was given exposure to a world-class university.
So after the late night with the Hall of Fame ceremony, we were right back at it early the next morning. Had to be in the office by 8:30 so we could start setting up our hospitality events by 9 a.m. We have multiple, I guess 2 that we do for each game starting this year. One was the Red and Blue Huddle, which is a pregame event for specifically football alumni and people that donate over $10,000 to the football program. And then our during game, always have had it, hospitality for donors of $5,000 or more to any sport, any athletics program, is our RTM tent. So that includes food, beverage, and that is alcoholic and non-alcoholic beverages. And it's kind of behind one of our end zones. So it's field level. People can come and walk around. There's tables to sit at, fences to stand up against. Very nice. So setting all that up in the morning, had to have it all set up by about 10:30. And then at about 11 o'clock, we opened up our Red and Blue Huddle, which was obviously that football specific one. With a lot of people in town for Hall of Fame ceremony, there were higher numbers there than I think we would typically see. And I'll actually go ahead and show you a quick picture of that here now. That Red and Blue Huddle ran from about 11 until noon. We tried to shut off at noon, really didn't close out until about 12:30. But at that point, everybody moved down to the RTM tent at field level, and that's kind of where we were for the rest of the game. So once we had everybody in that space, then it was time to figure out who needed to have a sideline pass. Our football board chair would come up to us from time to time and say, hey, I want to bring this person out on the sideline. I think it's somebody we could talk to about making a gift to the program. And then, throughout that game, I was meeting some more people as well. But really what those game days, it seems, will look like is, we will have the sideline passes. We'll talk to our board chairs. We'll kind of go around and help with tasks and things as needed. But ultimately, our board chairs are going to tell us, hey, I've been talking to this guy. I think he's going to be a good prospect for making a gift to the program. And we do leave a lot of the conversation up to our board members most of the time, just because they're the one with a pre-existing relationship with our alumni. Game ran from 1 to 5 p.m. Again, just entertaining donors. And then at 5 p.m., we wrapped things up, took the TVs from the RTM tent back to the office, and we're finally able to go home and start to enjoy our weekend. So that day ran from about 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m., which is pretty much, just your full typical day in the office, but obviously being on a Saturday, again, something to keep in mind working in sports, there'll be a lot of work done on the weekends. So that pretty much wraps it up for video number 3. I hope you all enjoyed getting a little bit of a look at what a Hall of Fame special event looks like, and then a home football game and what kind of tasks go along with that. So we'll look forward to seeing you all in the next video.